Almost everyone does this without thinking. You cut an avocado, scoop out the delicious flesh, and simply throw the pit in the trash. But what if I told you that the part you discard might actually be the most powerful part of the entire fruit? That's right. For years, thousands of people have thrown away something that may have impressive properties, surprising uses, and even applications that almost no one imagines. Some researchers say the pit may contain a large concentration of nutrients and natural compounds. Others claim it can be used in ways that range from natural recipes to unexpected household uses. But there's one curious detail. Most people never discovered this simply because no one talks about the pit. And when you find out what can really be done with it, you might never throw one in the trash again. The secret hidden inside the avocado pit. Avocado is known all over the world. It appears in smoothies, salads, guacamole, and even desserts. But there is one part of the fruit that is almost always ignored: the pit. Most people believe it's useless. So after removing the flesh, the pit's destination is almost always the same: the trash. But what many people don't know is that this part represents about 15 to 20% of the entire fruit. And inside it, there are some very interesting natural compounds. Some studies have already analyzed the composition of the pit and found that it contains natural fibers, antioxidants, phenolic compounds, bioactive substances. These compounds are studied precisely because of their antioxidant potential. In other words, substances that help fight what are known as free radicals. But the curious thing is that almost nobody talks about this in everyday life. And because of that, the pit continues to be discarded in millions of homes every day. Why almost nobody uses the pit? There is a curious reason for this. For a long time, the avocado pit simply wasn't considered useful in traditional cooking. The flesh has always been the highlight. It's creamy, flavorful, and easy to use. The pit, on the other hand, is hard, bitter, and difficult to prepare. Because of this, culturally, people spent generations believing it had no real use. But in recent years, with the growing curiosity about natural foods and full food utilization, many people began looking again at this forgotten part of the fruit. And that's when some discoveries started to attract attention. The use that many people started testing. Some people began experimenting with different ways to use the pit. One of the most well-known methods is turning it into powder. The process usually involves washing the pit, letting it dry, cutting it into smaller pieces, grinding or grating it. The result is a powder that can be used in small quantities in certain recipes. But it's important to remember that the flavor is quite bitter, so it's usually not used on its own. Even so, this practice sparked curiosity in many people, who started researching the topic further. The curiosity that few people know. There is another interesting fact about the avocado pit. It can germinate and turn into a plant. Many people have done that classic experiment, placing toothpicks in the pit and leaving it on top of a glass of water. After some time, the pit begins to split open. A root appears at the bottom, and a small sprout appears at the top. Over time, this sprout can become a young avocado plant. It's a process that many people find fascinating, especially because it happens inside the house. And it turns something that would go to the trash into a new plant. A detail that surprises many people. An avocado tree can grow quite large. Depending on the species, it can reach up to 10 or 15 meters in height. In other words, that small pit that seemed useless can theoretically turn into an entire tree. Of course, growing an avocado tree requires patience. Some trees can take years to produce fruit. Even so, many people grow it simply for the experience of watching the plant grow. The food reuse movement. In recent years, a global movement has emerged encouraging people to make the most of their food. The idea is to reduce waste and use parts that were once discarded. This includes vegetable stems, fruit peels, seeds. Within this context, the avocado pit started gaining attention. Not because it's miraculous, but because it represents a significant part of the fruit that usually ends up in the trash. And many people have started exploring new ways to reuse it.